Amber Heard is speaking out, first time since the conclusion of that trial. She's blaming social media for the verdict and for why the jurors found the way they did. Let's take a listen.
Even somebody who is sure I'm deserving of all this hate and vitriol, even if you think that I'm lying, you still couldn't look me in the eye and tell me that you think on social media there's been a fair representation. You cannot tell me that you think that this has been fair.
So this is what they're going with, Krystal. We saw Amber speaking out in her interview. We've seen her lawyer. That was the first thing that they went with on CNN, blaming social media for the jury. But, you know, I think back to what Legal Bites said here on our channel. She was like, look, the jury had to sit through the actual trial. They heard all of the recordings and all of that. The stuff that we got on social media is far less than what the actual jurors were subject to. So did that influence their decision-making, or was it that the actual facts of the case came to light and they found in the way that they did? I just find this to be like an incredible cope. And if anything, I think she was motivated by social media, trying to get some clout over the last 4 years.
Legal Bites also made a good point, and having not followed the trial very closely, I didn't know this, but part of the only reason any of the social media was like introduced into the case officially in terms of the courtroom was because of her own defense lawyer, her strategy, right? So, so that was what introduced this into the realm of being considered at all by the jury. And I also just think, you know, if you had been made a more compelling case for yourself, then social media might have gone. Like, there was nothing predetermined about the bulk of social media being against her. Of course, she had her own supporters and backers as well, who, you know, we're talking about if this has broader implications in terms of domestic abuse survivors and all of those things. So it's not like she wasn't without her cheerleaders online as well. So it's cope. I mean, you can't really blame her. I'm sure this has been like not the outcome she was hoping for.
No, I mean, her career is ruined. There's no question of it. But I think that actually does tell us something important, which is that there is a general sense, I think, that we are moving on from the whirlwind environment of Me Too in 2017 and 2018. And that was the context in which she was able to write this op-ed in 2018, use the ACLU to basically, you know, basically wash herself in credibility by promising this fake amount of money that she never ended up actually even paying to try to cast herself as a victim, which unambiguously helped her in Hollywood and in the public sphere to gain clout. So like when I see her blame social media, I'm like, you're the one who you tried to use social media and consistently was using her platform to try and cast herself as some ally of women and women's causes and issues when, look, in reality, she was telling outright lies. It's incredibly simple. So it really is also just ironic to me because to me, it's like, look, if you live by that game, you'll die by that game. It's like if you try and find validation in that, then what's the one rule? The mob always turns. It's like if you try to not even placate, if you try to become a part of the mob and part of this broader social movement online, but your house is not fully in order, like you're done and it will come for you. So to me, it's like a karmic justice.
I don't know the details of this case, to be perfectly honest with you. And so I don't want to go too far down the road of like opining on whether this was the right decision, a just decision, or any of that. In terms of the trajectory of the Me Too movement, first of all, I think that there was something real there to address, no doubt about it. You had years and years and years of women not being believed and being fearful of coming forward at all because of the way that it would, you know, destroy their careers. This is certainly the case in Hollywood, Harvey Weinstein being the, you know, obvious example there. And if you spoke out, they would ruin you, or you would be besmirched, you were asking for your slut, whatever. There's something real there to be addressed. And I think when Me Too started, you know, the argument that myself, and that I think is still correct, would say is that the overwhelming problem is on the side of women not being able to come forward. Now, there are obviously going to be people who are liars and who do come out and try to weaponize this, but the overwhelming problem is on the other side. But I think with how Me Too took off as this cultural phenomenon, you had an increase in the number of people who were trying to weaponize it, who were disingenuous and who were just trying to, you know, use it to as a way to, as part of a call out, cancel culture, as a way to increase their own clout, all of those sorts of things. And so, I don't know if this case is part of the backlash. I have to think that the response to it is certainly part of that backlash to that overreach. But to me, that's the sort of overall trajectory. And I hope now we can get to kind of a stasis where women are able to come out, they're able to seek justice, they're able to find redress, but there isn't just like this ability to throw out any wild claim and have everybody instantly believe it.
Yeah.
That's where I'm hoping that we're coming to ultimately.
I hope so too. I don't know though. Even though the people seem to be there, and I think that's what the overwhelming reaction to the Depp verdict has been, the media still is very much on her side, not really telling people how, even in this interview, frankly, they just let her spout a lot of this. And Samantha, Guthrie, she's a lawyer. Like, she should know better. And these people covered the case way more than you or I. I've only been more familiar with it afterwards. And look, I just think that they are still so afraid of like questioning these, woke shibboleths that they just let it all kind of slide by. But luckily, the people know, so that's good. All right, we'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.
Cable news is ripping us apart, dividing the country, making it impossible to function as a society, and making it impossible to know just what is true and what is false. But the good news is they are failing and they know it.
That is why we're building something new, a new mainstream, a healthier one, something more trustworthy, something that we are going to need in one of the most pivotal times in American history. We are building up here for the midterms, for the upcoming presidential election, but we need your help. So if you can help us out by becoming a premium member today at breakingpoints.com, we're trying to change America for the better and the entire world.
So what are you waiting for, guys? Go to breakingpoints.com and sign up and help us build a new mainstream.